Well, less than a decade ago, many African countries relied heavily on satellite connections for internet and telephone calls. Now, recently, there has been a revolution in communications with the connection of the continent to the rest of the world via undersea fiber optic cables, dramatically increasing transmission capacity of data and drastically reducing transmission time and costs. One of the most instrumental people behind the development of fiber optics is Thomas Mensah, CEO of the Georgia Aerospace Systems and an authority in fiber optics and nanotechnology. Mr. Mensah, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, Vincent.
Now, you know, when people turn on their laptops or go on the internet in Africa or check on their cell phone messages, they're just grateful it's so fast. What is fiber optics and how does this enable that kind of communication to be faster and more efficient?
Yeah, Vincent, fiber optics is really a very, very, very thin glass that people don't see because they always see the cable.
That's right.
Now, this glass has a coating on it that allows the glass not to break. That's how we can bend it and even put it on the sea. So when fiber optics was being developed in the laboratory in Corning Glass Works, it stayed in the laboratory for 15 years till I got there.
Yeah. So you didn't just study this, but actually you have invented and patented quite a number of things that are related to fiber optics.
Exactly. I was actually one of the 4 creators of this technology. You know, fiber optics is probably one of the most important innovations in this century. You know, the idea to use lasers to send Facebook pictures to your tablet, to your cell phone, that whole concept started somewhere in 1972. But it took 15 years for us to be able to mass produce it and mass market it because the cost of fiber optics was like $1 for a meter and copper was 10 cents. So it didn't make sense to go and rip all the copper wires all over the world and put fiber optics. But my first invention actually changed that, brought the cost of fiber optics to the same level as copper. That led to the spread of fiber optics throughout the United States. And also, a second invention allowed us to make strong fiber optic systems that you can put on the water or submarine to connect India, China, South Africa now, as well as other places. So we can pick up your cell phone and talk to somebody in Kenya, South Africa, or Ghana.
And you know, some may by now have recognized that you're not only a black person, you are a son of Africa. How did it happen that you ended up being one of these great inventors that has transformed not only the continent of Africa, but also the rest of the world?
Yes, I was born in Ghana, and luckily, when I was 4 years old, my dad used to read newspapers to me. So I was reading newspapers fluently when I was 4. And so everybody thought, oh, maybe this kid is up to something. And my neighbor was from Togo, which is a French-speaking country. So when I was 8, I was speaking French fluently. And so this is not a coincidence. This guy probably is somebody special. And so I attended at the Sada College, one of the top-performing boys' schools in Cape Coast. And I won the French-speaking competition nationally twice. And the French were, of course, watching me and said, oh, maybe this is a guy we can send to France.
And you spent some time in France, and I know that.
Exactly.
But about all the inventions, you've actually put it in a book, too, to kind of explain how it all happened and all the inventions that you've managed to patent up to this point. How many are they?
Well, I received 7 patents in 6 years. Normally, it takes people 10 to even get one. So the 7 patents in 6 years are all in fiber optics, really transformed fiber optics processing. But I have probably about 14 patents in general in nanotechnology and other areas. And as you see later when we talk about it, I'm also creating what is called the first Black Disney World.
Oh, great.
And there will be fiber optics in this park. And as we talk about it, it's an exciting thing, you know, which I'll bring up because we will redo the mid-passage
right.
You know, how slaves got here. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, when we get to our other conversation after this show.
Sure.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mensah, and thanks for the book. I hope we will be able to read and know so much more about you. Well, Thomas Mensah is one of the great inventors of this world, the son of Africa.